In the middle of the San Francisco Bay sits one of the most famous prisons in history, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, surrounded by icy water, strong currents, and sharks. It was believed to be completely escape-proof. Officials used to say, "No one escapes Alcatraz." But in 1962, 3 men tried. Their names were Frank Morris and brothers John Anglin and Clarence Anglin. All were convicted criminals, but they shared something else: intelligence and patience. Frank Morris had an IQ reportedly in the genius range. From the moment he arrived at Alcatraz, he began studying the prison's weaknesses. The walls were thick concrete, the guards were strict, and escape seemed impossible. But Morris noticed something small. The ventilation grates in their cells were slightly damaged from years of moisture, and that tiny flaw became their opportunity. Using stolen spoons from the prison cafeteria, they slowly scraped away at the concrete around the vents. They worked quietly at night, covering the sound with music from the prison's daily accordion hour. Every day, they hid their progress by placing fake cardboard vents painted to look real. But their most shocking trick, they made fake heads. Using soap, toothpaste, toilet paper, and real hair collected from the prison barber shop, they created lifelike dummy heads. Every night, they placed these heads under their blankets, so guards would think they were asleep. For months, they worked in secret. Then, on the night of June 11th, 1962, they made their move. They climbed through the vent openings, crawled up a utility pipe, and reached the prison roof. From there, they slid down a kitchen vent pipe and made their way to the shoreline. But they still had one problem. Water. The temperature of the San Francisco Bay can drop below 12 degrees Celsius, 54 F. The currents are strong. Many believed no one could survive that swim. But Maurice and the Anglin brothers had prepared for that too. Using over 50 stolen raincoats, they stitched together a homemade inflatable raft. They even built life vests from the same material. Sometime after midnight, they pushed off into the darkness, and they were never officially seen again. The next morning, guards discovered the empty cells. The dummy heads were still lying on the pillows. The entire prison went into lockdown. Helicopters searched the bay. Boats scanned the water. The FBI investigated for 17 years. They concluded the men likely drowned, but no bodies were ever found. Years later, strange clues began to surface. A letter surfaced decades later, allegedly written by Frank Morris, claiming he had survived. The Anglin family received mysterious photographs showing 2 men in Brazil who looked remarkably like the brothers. Even more interesting, on the night of the escape, the tide patterns may have actually carried them toward safety instead of out to sea. In 2013, the U.S. Marshals reopened the case, stating it remains technically unsolved. To this day, no one knows the truth. Did they drown in the freezing water? Or did 3 prisoners successfully escape the most secure prison in America? Alcatraz closed just 1 year later, in 1963. And the legend of the escape only grew stronger. Sometimes the most secure walls still have cracks.